Crawford, nobody told Crawford to say anything. Crawford's his own man doing his own thing, and that's how he feels. And we'll see how this thing plays out in the next couple of years.
Dana White isn't holding back in the war between Terence Crawford and boxing's old guard. He's shutting down every rumor claiming Crawford's refusal to pay the $300,000 sanctioning fee was some UFC-planted stunt. Dana says Crawford made that call himself, and this rebellion is as real as it gets. This isn't just a fight over a belt, it's a direct challenge to boxing's entire system. After beating Canelo, Crawford refused the WBC fee, realizing he was being charged to rent his own greatness. The WBC struck back by stripping him, exposing a system where the champion isn't always the best fighter. Crawford fired off a brutal IG rant, telling Mauricio Sulaiman to keep the belt and calling it just a trophy, while pointing out the Ring magazine belt is free. He basically proved he's bigger than the belts now.
And guess what? It's free! It's free! How you love that? $180,000 free. How much your belt cost? I wonder, how much your belt cost? Huh? I don't see no receipts on your belt. It's crazy. Y'all be having so much taxes on these belts. You got some nerves. It's crazy that you can sit up there and have all these belts. You know, you got the WBC silver, the WBA intern, the whatever belt y'all got. And you taxing these fighters every time they fight, and you claim that you for these fighters. You're not for these fighters. You probably worse than the promoters. But hey, I wish you the best.
While boxing insiders panicked, Dana White stepped into the UFC 323 press conference with a look like he knew something big was happening. On December 6th, reporters immediately pushed him on the situation. Rumors were spinning that Dana and TKO had encouraged Crawford to rebel, trying to shake boxing's foundation from the inside.
Turkey, I hope y'all get that done, man. I hope y'all get that done so we can all see, people face like this guy, go away from boxing because they ruin the sport with all these antics that they do. They got they ranking systems when people be mandatories for years, like Benavidez. Yeah. They don't strip these fighters, but I give credit to the IBF. They stripped me. They ain't even give me time. They stripped me. Pop me. Even though I wasn't, coming back down the way, but, they handled their business. They did what they were supposed to do. The WBC, you ain't never see them strip no Canelo for the Benavidez. He was what, mandatory for like 2 years? It's crazy. But, that's that favoritism shit.
Dana didn't run from the topic, but cleared one thing up fast. He said nobody told Crawford to say anything. He's his own man. But the hidden message was louder than the quote. Dana didn't scold Crawford, he backed him. He made it sound like Crawford finally said what fighters have been afraid to say for years. Dana has always claimed boxing's model is broken, and now the sport's top fighter is proving it publicly. Dana's grin said it all. The UFC doesn't charge sanctioning fees, and fighters are starting to pay attention.
Boxing's starting to fall apart. Once there was so much money involved and it got so big, guys started ducking other guys. Then you got the sanctioning bodies in there. We think this guy's the champ. We think this guy's the champ. And then none of those guys would fight each other. That's when it all started to fall apart and break.
But then things got even more interesting. In that same presser, Dana hinted at something deeper, something tied to the Alley Act. He blasted boxing promoters as hypocrites, saying, "I love how boxing guys praise the Ali Act the way it is. I guarantee you they won't stay there."
What did you think of the WBC stripping Terence Crawford of his belt?
Listen, if you look at how this thing's playing out, And first of all, let me say this. I love that all these guys, all these boxing guys, love the Ali Act the way it is now. I want to see how many of them actually stay there and do that version of the Ali Act instead of the add-on that we're going to do. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a fucking rocket scientist to see what's going on with all these guys. They're all these guys that are crying the loudest are the fucking problems. They're the problem, every one of these guys. And, you know, Crawford, nobody told Crawford to say anything. Crawford's his own man doing his own thing, and that's how he feels. And we'll see how this thing plays out in the next couple of years.
Are you surprised by this frosty reception from the other boxing promoters?
No, not at all. Not at all. But here's the thing that's great for fighters is that.
What does that mean? Dana is accusing promoters of pretending to care about fighter rights while draining fighters with fees and commissions. He's framing boxing structure as a parasite, not a protector. By supporting Crawford's refusal to pay, Dana is exposing a huge flaw. Everyone gets paid before the fighter does. Promoters, managers, sanctioning bodies, all eating first. Dana warned that once the Ali Act stops padding promoters' pockets, they'll run for the hills.
They have options, you know? All these promoters are saying the Ali Act is perfect and this is the way it should be. I want to see them all stay in it. I want every one of them to stay in the Ali Act as it is now for the next however many years. I fucking guarantee you they won't.
And then there's the big question, Zuffa boxing. Crawford isn't locked into a long-term deal, but his Canelo fight was promoted under that umbrella with Turki Al-Sheikh backing it. That puts Crawford right in the middle of boxing's new era, an era with billions in capital and zero interest in the old rules. Many believe this is a pressure test. If the biggest star refuses the fees and loses nothing, no popularity, no momentum, the sanctioning bodies lose their power. If Zuffa and TKO can make mega fights without the WBC's blessing, the WBC becomes irrelevant. Dana doesn't need to tell Crawford what to say. The new system empowers fighters to realize they don't need three-letter organizations to sell pay-per-views.
You wind up putting it right back into the sport, and then an even bigger one comes along, and you just signed a rights package for $7.7 billion for the UFC. We're talking about NFL, NBA, MLB type numbers, starting to get into that territory, rights deals that boxing has never had. Do you think it's possible to build a boxing business to that kind of scale?
That's the plan, and you're absolutely right. It's one of my, you know, when I think about the boxing guys, all the boxing guys, all these guys that talk smack and all the dumb stuff that's said, these guys have been in the business for 100 years, and none of them have done anything. I've never seen a business where there's been trillions of dollars in revenue, and at the end of the day, there's nothing there because none of them reinvested in the sport of boxing. Every time they put on an event, it's a going out of business sale. We have reinvested hundreds of millions of dollars into the sport of MMA and into the UFC. And yes, we will do the same.
The WBC's reaction has been pure panic. Right after stripping Crawford, they ordered Hamza Shiraz versus Christian Mbili for the now vacant belt, desperate to slap the title on someone else and pretend nothing's wrong.
It is just regrettable, not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route, no response. I wish him the best. But this is not. The WBC is huge, it's great, it's about greatness, and I'm relieved, to tell you the truth.
So yeah, you got it over with and you immediately came back with a solution, which is going to be a fight for the vacant title, Hamza Shiraz against Christian Mbili, who we just saw on the Canelo Crawford undercard in that great fight against Lester Martinez. and you put Lester Martinez in position to fight the winner.
Absolutely.
You feel like that's an adequate response? Like this is going to be an entertaining thing for the fight fans?
Yes, it's a great fight, and Billy is very entertaining. He comes forward. Hamza Shiraz just had the best fight of his career, knocking out Berlanga dramatically in New York.
Yeah.
And Lester Martinez had an unbelievable fight with Mbili. He's going to fight the winner. So there's great movement. Whenever Canelo is ready, after his surgery, when he's recovered, he's in the mix. And we have other fighters fighting, so it's going to be great activity.
But let's be honest, nobody's buying it. Fans know Crawford is still the man who beat the man.
They're money-making schemes at the end of the day. I personally, listen, anybody that's listened to any of my stuff going forward, I think we could do without sanctioning bodies. I think we could all move forward with just having one champion, one per division. I know that people will come up to me and say, well, more opportunities when there's more belts and all this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, if we get boxing right, opportunities will fall for people. If the WBC played along with their own rules all the time, to the letter, I would probably sit here and have a different opinion. But they don't. They make things up as they go along. For example, the Conor Benn scenario, right? He failed a drug test as per the clean boxing program, which is run by the WBC. The WBC provide Ben with an alternative reason to the one that he gave them, because the one that he gave, if it is true, would open up the WBC to litigation of every single fighter that has ever failed a test and served the ban under the clean boxing program. Conor Benn told them that there was a flaw in the testing process. They said that that's nonsense, so therefore they provided him the excuse of eating too many eggs. Conor Benn never came up with that excuse. That was a WBC reasoning. Also, we've seen this week alone, the WBC 140-pound champion, Subriel Matias. He's failed a drug test. Instead of cancelling an upcoming fight with Dalton Smith, which is coming up in January, he's been allowed to continue because the WBC don't operate strict liability. In 2019, this is an important part of this story. In 2019, a 28-year-old fighter called Maxime Dadyshev died as a result of injuries sustained in a fight with Subriel Matias. This should be investigated massively off the back of the news of him failing a drug test in recent times. Here's the best one, and this has only happened in the last 2 days.
Told me that 20 years ago at Il Molino, I would think, yeah, but what has this guy done that he thinks he can do that in boxing? But now the track record says, yes, he can do it. You have institutional knowledge of how to do it, and then partnered with Turki Al-Sheikh and Nick Khan, by the way. What I think unites all three of you is you love boxing. Like all three of you guys love boxing. And is that what brought you guys together? Like, I think of boxing for so long, the power brokers a lot of times didn't even like the sport. Is that the unifying thing here?
Yeah, and everybody hated each other in boxing too. Yeah, it's almost like this was meant to happen. I've been talking about it, saying, I'm kicking the tires, I'm looking at it. Timing is everything. And then the way that this whole thing came together, it literally reminds me of every other thing that's happened to me in my life. It's like this was the time and the place and the right people to make this happen.